everyone, Karchermakes here, and let's talk about Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival. So the festival was held last weekend, May 4th and 5th, at the Howard County Fairgrounds in West Friendship, Maryland. And although the festival is only the 2 days that weekend, the experience is really preceded by some other events leading up to it. So what I mean by that is number one, Maryland Sheep and Wool, the festival organizers offer classes and workshops in the couple of days leading up to it. I didn't take any this year. I've never taken a class there. But if you have, leave a comment below. I've heard a lot of good things about their workshops, and I'm really interested in taking a couple in the future. I just haven't had a chance to do it yet. But in addition to the workshops and the classes and the festival itself, there's also events going on kind of in the knitting community surrounding the area. So the first one was Yarncentrick, which was in Frederick, Maryland at the Arc. And this is kind of like a fringe type festival to the big show, Maryland Sheep and Wool. And although it was kind of a smaller venue, it was fantastic show. So they had probably 30-ish or so vendors there. A lot of local yarn dyers. La Bien-Aimée was there the night before with a special ticketed event for dinner and a lecture from her, which was crazy amazing that I heard. I didn't go to that, but I heard it was like amazing. Kind of sad that I didn't get the tickets for that because, again, it's not that far from me. But so I chose to go to Yarncentrick on Friday, and they do have time tickets, which I think helps because it is a smaller venue. But the venue was fantastic, plenty of parking, very accessible. They had food trucks, they had the Yarn Birch truck, they had my friends from Frogget Yarns there with their truck and trailer of yarn, and it was just a really good experience, kind of a more intimate experience than Maryland Sheep and Wool. So at the end of this, I do have some footage from that, and I did make a couple purchases, of course I did, and we can talk about that. But in the meantime, let's go back to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I have quite a bit of footage from that, and most of it is from the animal barns. So let's just start with the Maryland Sheep and Wool getting to the fairgrounds and into the fairgrounds experience. And now keep in mind, this past year, last weekend, the weather was terrible. It was kind of chilly. It was raining all day, which was kind of sad because the day before for Yarncentrick, the weather was fantastic and beautiful. So I was hoping we were gonna hold out. It didn't happen, and Saturday was very, very rainy and wet. So the thing with where the fairgrounds is positioned, it really has two entrances, if you think. It has one entrance, but there's two ways to get to it. So as you're coming down 70, and if you are coming from the south, meaning from Baltimore, right, which is, I guess would really be east, you're coming from the east, Google Maps is always going to tell you to take the first exit to the fairgrounds, and that's Route 32. Here's a pro tip for all y'all. Don't take 32 to get into the fairgrounds. It gets backed up. That's the default route for Google, and it just gets crazy. Like, everybody goes that way, and then you go down and you make the right onto the, I think it's called Fairgrounds Road. You make the right onto the road, and it just gets really backed up to get into the actual festival piece. I choose not to go that way. I'm not sitting in traffic. I don't want to sit in a line. Like, get me to the wool. So what I do, and again, I'm coming from the east, so I'm coming from the Baltimore side. I go down to the next exit. So you're going to pass the fairgrounds. Fairgrounds will be on your left. You go past it, and then you take the next road, which is Route 97. And that brings you in the backside of the fairgrounds, and you're basically going to make a left and onto the same fairgrounds road, and then you're going to make a left into the festival. The Maryland State Police are always there directing traffic. They do a fantastic job. The Boy Scouts are there to park you. They do a great job too. And by kind of avoiding that whole loopy crowd, like it just gets you in a little quicker and easier, in my opinion. And probably for all the locals who know this little trick, they're probably like, shh, don't tell them our trick, but it really does help. So the other kind of trick that I have for Maryland sheep and wool, and this is going to be slightly controversial and totally depending upon what time you get there. So I like to get there very early. I try to get there between 8 and 9 o'clock. It depends on, traffic and getting in and all of that. But I really do try to get there before 9 o'clock. And when I got there this year, last weekend, the line for pre-purchase tickets, so I got there at like 8:45. The line for pre-purchase tickets was from the gate out to the parking lot. Now, if you're familiar with the festival, there's like a long kind of like entrance way and then it like kind of bleeds into the parking lot. There had to have been at least 500 people in this line for prepaid tickets, to use their prepaid tickets that they already bought. I didn't prepay a ticket because I wasn't sure what day I was going, and if the weather was too bad, I wasn't going to go at all, so I never buy prepaid tickets. I went into the cash only line. I waited behind one person. Another tip, again, depending on what time you go. If you come later in the morning, I would imagine that the prepaid ticket line is going to be much quicker to get in. But, I go first thing and I just walked right in. There was one person ahead of me, cash line, into the festival. I went. So kind of keep that in mind as well. So like I mentioned, the weather was not cooperative this year, and with Maryland sheep and wool, it's kind of feast or famine every year for the weather. It's either gorgeous, beautiful, and hot, or it's not, and this was the year that it was not. So although on Saturday when I was there, I felt like there was generally just less people because of the weather, most likely, it still felt more crowded because all those people were gravitating to the indoor spaces. And I will say Maryland Sheep and Wool has done a really good job at improving the outdoor spaces significantly, at least in the 8 years that I've been going. So they now have like a giant tent where most of those vendors that were in the like corral area, like right off the entrance, where most of them had to provide their own tents before, they now provide like this giant tent. And there was a little spot where there was like a river running through it, but it was far better than it used to be when everybody just had their little pop-ups and was trying to manage things. Another thing is that the Fairgrounds fairly recently, within the past 2 years, built a new annex building. So a lot of the exhibition type stuff, the demos, has kind of migrated into that area. So I really feel like that's an improvement. Now, the other kind of controversy about Maryland Sheep and Wool is that the price went up to $15. Everything that I just said about the improvements, I think it's worth it. It's still a ginormous festival. I think it's the biggest, if not second to Rhinebeck, biggest wool and fiber festival in this country. And, the amount of work that those volunteers from I think they're from the Sheep Breeders Association, the amount of work that they put into this every single year to make sure that we have a good show to go to, I appreciate it. And, $15, it's like going to Starbucks for lunch. I can go without that in favor of, spending a little bit more money to go to an amazing festival. So one of my favorite things about Maryland Sheep and Wool, aside from yarn, because of course, why am I there? I'm there for the yarn. One of my favorite things though is being able to visit with all the sheep and the animals. So there were a couple alpaca out front when you first came in. They were so cute, and I just love alpaca. I really do. And just being able to visit with the sheep, visit with the shepherds who are raising these sheep, and to talk to them about their experiences. And I tend to romanticize farm life, which I know is absolutely grueling hard work. And let's be honest, I'm never going to do it in my lifetime. Although my boyfriend's like, well, maybe we could get a farm. No, let's not. I don't want to do that much work. And I would be sad when the, animals finish living their life. That would devastate me. But just being able to talk to the shepherds, watch them care for their animals, see how they treat them, watching them shear them, watching them show them talking about how they have basically built their life around, caring for breeds. And a lot of these shepherds, like, the only reason why these breeds even still exist. And I don't have examples right off the tongue to talk about with that, but there are different breeds that are very endangered, and without these shepherds to care for them, they just wouldn't be here. They would have gone extinct by now. So I really love that. I did talk to one shepherd in particular, and I'll insert the footage here. She had these 2 little baby lambs, and she was telling me how the mother had to have a C-section because she was having issues with her pregnancy. And basically now they're bottle lambs, right? The shepherd has to feed them with a bottle. And they were just following her around like, hi, Mom, I want a bottle. And they were just so cute. And their names were Bo and Luke. And I'm going to insert the footage here because they're just too precious for words. They're just so cute. But just being able to see that, being able to experience that is my favorite part, my second favorite part of the festival. And also just getting the opportunity to really get, products, fiber, fleeces, yarn that is that close to the source, right? Like, it's not coming from overseas, well, in some cases, but like the farm stuff. It's coming directly from the farm and, being processed locally. And I personally really enjoy that part of it as well. So I have some footage to insert here of both Maryland Sheep and Wool and Yarncentrick. I hope you enjoy. And then when it's done, you can come back here if you're interested in hearing a little bit of show and tell about my purchases. I stayed under budget this year, which was good. I have a plan for every single thing that I purchased, and we'll talk about that. And yeah, in the meantime, enjoy this footage of some really cute little sheep.
Yeah. So it's the app, yes, for Wi-Fi. Yeah.
hope you enjoyed that footage. There were just so many cute sheeps around. I just love the animals. That's, like I said, it's my favorite part, and just seeing them and being able to pet them and take selfies with them. I just really like that part. So let's talk about my haul. And like I said, it was really less than I anticipated. I was really hoping to get some weaving stuff, and I sort of did, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I was hoping to get more weaving yarns, and although there was one in particular vendor, Weaver House, that was there, I really didn't see anything that kind of sparked my interest. So I kind of stuck to the knitting stuff, and let's just kind of go through it. So I'm gonna start with the Yarncentrick purchases. So like I said, there was like 30 vendors there, and I saw just so many things, so many beautiful yarns, so many beautiful like project bags. Tanny Casey was there with her project bags, and I have 2 of her bags. Beautiful. I did not need another one. I abstained despite the fact that it was very difficult to do so. So let's start with Yarncentrick, and I'm gonna start with this sticker that I picked up from Die Mad Yarns. You deserve pretty yarn, because you know what? We all deserve pretty yarn. Like, this is speaking the truth, and it's a sticker. And if you're not new here, you know I love stickers, so there's that. I did get some mini skeins, surprise, surprise, from Die Mad as well. And I just, this name and then their logo, let me just show you this logo. It cracks me up. It's this like little goose, and it's like Die Mad. The pun, it kills me. So I got some lighter colored mini skeins from Die Mad Yarns, because what I'm finding with my End Times cardigan is that I have a lot of stash, period, end of statement. But the problem is, because I'm alternating light, dark colorways in that sweater with the half square triangles, I'm running low on light colors. So, and I'm trying to not repeat any colors in it as well. So I got these to go into that, and all of these are beautiful. This one is called the Star, this blue. This one is called the Moon, and these are all like a theme, I think. Look at those speckles. Look at those speckles. This one is called Opal, which, fun fact, is my birthstone. And then speaking of that, this one is called Libra, which is my sign. I am a Libra, believe it or not. I don't know if I exhibit traits of that, but that's what I am. So this will look nice in my End Times cardigan. I have made a little bit of progress on it. I'm now in the second row of the split for the front and the sleeves. I'm not going to show it because it's really just like maybe 6 squares more than what you saw last time. So just know that that's still working. I'm still adding squares to it. So the next thing that I got at Yarncentric, look, I had to visit my friends at Fairgrounds Yarns, right? Like, there's no secret that I love Tasha Bryan's yarns. Look, this is not a Stan account, but it could be. So first thing I had to get, like, as soon as I walked into the trailer, was this set. So this is the set. It's called Mayflower's Fade, and it is 5 half skeins of their 75-25 yarn. So I'm gonna have to insert a picture here of it because I do not recall the name and I do not recall the maker, despite the fact that Tasha gave me a card with it written on there. I don't know what I did with the card. I think it's downstairs. I need to make these socks. Insert here. They are beautiful. They're perfect for these colors, and I need to have them. I don't know when I'm gonna make them, but they will eventually happen. It will happen. So that is a definite. That is gonna happen. So the second thing that I got at Fairgrounds Yarns are 2 skeins of the worsted weight superwash merino, and this is called Lord John Gray. Now, I know you're thinking, what are you going to do with 2 skeins of, you know, this blue worsted weight yarn? Like, what's the point? So here's the point. Like, yes, it's not enough for a sweater in and of itself. So when I was in Alaska last year, I got 2 of these from Aurora Yarns. And they're these giant superwash merino hand-dyed skeins, hand-dyed in Alaska. It's my souvenir yarn from there. I bought these in Skagway. And these are 550 yards of superwash merino worsted weight. Problem is that I bought 2 of them, and each one has 550 yards. It's not going to be enough yarn for what I want to make. I want to make a long sleeve sweater out of this. So Tasha was very nice enough to help me pick out a color to kind of go with it. And these are going to all go together. Like I said, I have a second one of these, and then I'm going to put these with it from Frogget, and then I will have a very nice blue-gray sweater one day. I'm thinking, I don't know, give me your best ideas for worsted weight pullover sweaters. I'm thinking the Weekender, but I also think that's like, you know, kind of basic. So if you have any ideas, leave them below. I'm always open to inspiration, but it's definitely going to be a pullover, definitely going to be a sweater, long sleeve. I just need to figure out exactly what one to make with it. So that's all I got from Yarncentrick. So the next day was the big show, the Maryland Sheep and Wool show. So I'm going to start with something that's not yarn. I know. You bought something that wasn't yarn? Yes, I did. I picked up this cute little purse. I know, it's a purse from a fiber festival, but so I picked up this purse from Cool Wool, and I'll show their card here. This is who I picked it up from. And they had all kinds of different wool products, including bags and purses, and I just fell in love with this one. So when I was looking at these, there was another woman who was also looking at purses as well, and we both kind of gravitated to the same one, and we both like convinced each other we had to have it. It was kind of a cute moment, and I'm sad I didn't get her name. But this is made out of Harris tweed, which, if you're not familiar, it's a hand-woven cloth from Scotland, and then it's been turned into this cute little purse, which has like a crossbody strap inside. But look, I'm not a purse channel. YouTube has those, I'm not it, but I just thought that was so cute, and I feel like it's gonna be big enough. I don't know, I need to try it, but I think it's gonna be big enough for maybe like a tiny little sock project. And I don't carry a lot of stuff with me anyway. I carry sunglasses, a wallet, and my phone. That's it, that's all I carry. So I feel like I could maybe squeeze a little sock project in here as well, but it's so cute, and it's hand-woven fabric, and you know, I'm on my weaving journey, and I just thought that was perfect. So the next thing that I got was, it's yarn related, but it's not knitting or crochet related. So I picked up this kit. So this is a needle punch kit, punch needle kit. And it is from who did I get this from? I want to say they're called Checkerboard Fibers. I'll put it below. I should have looked that up before now because I thought I was going to remember it. But that's who was selling it. But the kit is actually made by Breezy Ridge Rugs, which is a Kentucky company. And you can see they have their little sticker here. But this is a little punch needle sheep. And then he turns into a little ornament. So if you were here late last year when I first started my channel, I talked all about this idea of having a Christmas tree made from handmade ornaments, and I started that journey, and it will continue this year, and definitely gonna make this. So I picked this up, the little kit. I already have the needle because I have done one other punch needle project before, but it didn't come with yarn. So I went through kind of their yarn, and they had these like unlabeled balls. And I think they were selling them by weight, like by grams. But she was like, well, if you're buying the kit, just take the ball. Take the ball of yarn, enjoy, make it, love it. So that was nice. And I'm going to have a little sheepy ornament. Okay, next up in the not knitting portion of this program, I picked up a shirt from Matterroot, Maine. And I love it. I love it. It is all encompassing. Knitting needles, a weaving shuttle, scissors, and a crochet hook. It was meant to be. I had to have it. I should have worn it today. Why didn't I do that? Hindsight is always 20/20. But I really like this, and I'm excited to wear it and rep my craft. They had a lot of cute stuff there too. They had bags. They had all kinds of shirts, sweatshirts, that kind of stuff. So definitely check them out. They also sell online as well. Okay, now we're here for yarn. This is the yarn portion, and I like I said, I really didn't get that much. So let me just say, when I was at Yarncentrick the day before, there were these two women walking in front of me as we were kind of going in, and they had the cutest sweaters on. It was like a little bit of a crop, not super crop, but like a little bit of a crop, short sleeve, and it had like this eyelet detail down the side. So I was like, oh, those are so pretty. I should ask them what pattern that is so that I can look it up. Well, then I got to the door, and my friend Donna, who owns Black Sheep Fibers in Timonium, Maryland, was there. And then I got chatting with her and completely forgot about these two women and the sweaters that they had made, obviously. And I was like, oh, now I don't know what sweater it is. Fast forward to walking out, they were in front of me again. So I took the opportunity and asked them. And you're probably not watching, but if you were, I didn't get your names. Thank you for entertaining my questions about your sweater. All that to say, the sweater was, and I have to look it up here because I totally can't remember this, the Petal Party Crop from Samantha Gurin, and I'll post a little picture of it here. And one of my goals was to get yarn for a fingering weight sweater. I was thinking I wanted a linen base, and I was thinking that I wanted to crochet a sweater, but once I saw them wearing this, my mind changed. So when I got to Kim Dye's Yarns booth, I saw this color. She had it in a shawl on display, and I was like, that's it. This is the yarn for that sweater. It was meant to be. It is made in heaven for one another. So I picked up these two skeins, and the colorway is called Bunch of Zinnias. The yarn is Napoleon Sock, 80/20, superwash merino and silk, 100 grams. And I was telling Kim about the whole sweater situation and that this is what I was looking for yarn for. And she suggested this, and she said she's actually made the sweater out of this yarn, different colorway, same yarn. So again, it was kismet. It was meant to be. It has to happen. And I'm trying to decide if I want to cast that on, like now. You guys know I have so many whips. I don't need another cast on, but look at it. Look at it. I think I need to cast it on. I don't know. We'll see. Wish me luck. Okay, so the last yarn that I got, so I mentioned in the prior video, or maybe it was 2 videos ago, about the Dustlin hat that I made from yarn from Switzer's fiber mill, which is in Seven Valleys, super close to here. And I mentioned that they had like the bargain bin, as I call it, the sale bin, and I had found that yarn in there. So of course, you know, I had to beeline it to Switzer's at Maryland Sheep and Wool. And they did not disappoint. So they had their giant bin this year. The yarn was, I want to say it was like $16 a skein, worsted weight. And They had so many different colors in there. So I spent probably 10 minutes digging through it, and I got a sweater's quantity of this yarn. Now, it is unlabeled, but they told me that it's 100% merino and worsted weight. So taking them at their word for it, and I did get 1 extra skein. So normally when I buy a sweater's quantity, I get 5. I did get a 6 just in case. But look at this. Look how pretty this is. And I hope the camera can pick it up. But it's really several colors kind of blended together. And I just think that is so special. And again, I'm going to have to find a special sweater project for this. So maybe as you're telling me about sweater projects for that Frogget and Aurora yarn, I can take some suggestions for this as well. Really want something that will highlight the beauty that is this fiber. All of these colors. Beautiful. So I did buy one last thing, and that was from the auction. I only went into the auction tent because it was really rainy and I didn't feel like walking to the car yet. So I was like, well, let me pop in here and let's see what this auction is all about. When I took a beginning weaving class last summer at Redstone Glen, one of the women in the class was telling us how she likes going to the auction at Maryland Sheep and Wool. She got some good deals on a loom there before and some fiber prep tools. So I was like, okay, let's go check it out. Well, I got there and there was a million people in that tent, but I managed to find a little spot. And as I was kind of like walking through the tables to see what they had, there was a weaving bench. And I was like, I kind of want a weaving bench because right now I use my dining room table bench and it's too short and it kind of hurts my back because I have to like lean up to beat the weaving. So I was like, okay, let me go and register for a number. I've been to a million auctions in my lifetime. Don't ask. I've been to a million auctions, but I've never like registered and bid on something before. So I wasn't sure how this was going to go. It was on the literal last table. I had nowhere to be. So I was like, all right, I'm going to chill out and let's see what happens with this weaving bench. So the crowd, like I said, was very busy at the beginning of the auction, and I was kind of surprised at some of the prices stuff was going for. Either, in my mind, and again, I'm not the expert on all things, right? But like some of the stuff that I thought would have gone like fairly cheap went very expensive, and vice versa. Like they had a loom there, a floor loom, which had I not just bought one, like it would have been mine. It went for like a third of the price that it's retail, and it was in fantastic condition. So point being, if you go to the Maryland Sheep and Wool Festival and you're looking for anything like spinning wheels, looms, fiber prep tools, they even had knitting needles, like anything like that, just go check it out. Just go pop into the tent beforehand, see what they have, look it up online to see what the actual retail price is so that you don't pay too much. And then, you know, if you have time, go see if you can get it. So all that to say, I ended up buying this weaving bench, and as I was waiting and they were auctioning off the other stuff, I looked it up online just to see how much it was in real life because, again, I know I love my yarn and stuff, but I'm also cheap by nature, frugal by nature, so I didn't want to pay full price if I didn't have to. And it was a $400 bench, and I ended up getting it for $150, and that was after tax and after the buyer's fee. So I'm happy. I'm happy with that. And I'll insert a little picture of it here just so you can see it. So that was my Maryland Sheep and Wool experience in a nutshell. Hopefully you got some value out of this, and you know, hopefully you can one day make it there if you have the opportunity to. It's a great show. It's even in the rain, like it was a great time. Lots of fantastic vendors. I got to see a lot of my knitty friends that a couple I have never met in real life before, so that was fun. And if you stopped and said hi to me, thank you. I'm really terrible about remembering names, so if you said hi to me and I didn't recognize you, please know that's a me problem and I apologize. But overall, it was a really good time. I had fun, and hopefully if you went, you did too. And if you didn't go, maybe think about going in the future. It's always the first full weekend in May, and it's always a great time regardless of the weather. So thanks for watching today. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and if you don't mind, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and tune in next time for more making fun.